Alrighty, welcome back to High on the Hog. I'm your host, Sawyer Dillinger, alongside my dad, co-host John Dillinger, and
boy, do we got a good show for you today.
I bit my tongue this time. We have a really, really good show for you today.
I love Ole Miss week.
It's honestly, we have Texas now, so I can't say it, but other than Texas, this is my favorite week every year.
Growing up a Hog fan and everything, I never viewed Ole Miss as being on Arkansas's level because they wasn't, honestly. Maybe back they've had hit years. When Archie Manning was there, they were up in the '60s or whatever, and every once in a while they'll have a good team, have a big year. But once Houston Nutt left Arkansas to go to Ole Miss, ever since then, it's been a rivalry to me. Just the fact that he would go to Little Sis, that's what we've always called them.
Yep.
Little Sis. They're like your little annoying sister.
Won't keep pestering your leg.
But ever since then, it's been a decent competitive rivalry. Arkansas definitely owns the rivalry, but it's been competitive. And ever since they got Lane Kiffin, who Arkansas was interested in bringing in, but they could never get the timing right. When he wanted to come, Arkansas really wasn't interested, and then Arkansas got interested, but he had already kind of signed a contract with Ole Miss and kind of used us to get a little bit of a pay increase.
As everyone does.
And then he wanted to leave and come when we hired Sam Pittman, but it just didn't work out.
Yeah.
We should have. Well, I shouldn't say we should have hired somebody instead of Sam, because Sam did a good job of getting us out of the trench. But back then, I would have liked for us to have hired Mike Leach.
Rest in peace, the Pirates. Still one of the saddest things to happen to college football.
Just for the press conferences.
Dude, look, I'll say this. I would not have Lane Kiffin as our coach if he would take us to a national championship. And I say that, and you can say I'm stupid for it. I don't care. There is not a more boring person in college football than Lane Kiffin.
Atrocious.
I would literally rather watch paint dry, grass grow. Liberals cry. I'd rather go to a feminist rally and listen to the speakers at the conference than Lane Kiffin speak.
That's almost what it's like listening to.
He's unbearable.
He looks like a Karen.
He does. He's the most unenthusiastic.
He sounds like a Karen.
The most boring person I've ever watched a press conference of.
You ever watch his TikTok?
I see him do some cringy stuff.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, he's trying to be cool to get these players to come. It's working. They're getting good players, but man, what a weird person.
He's about as cool as a
cucumber,
warm, wet sock.
Lane Kiffin's boring is all I'm saying. Guys, it's hate week yet again in the state of Arkansas, and more importantly, my heart. It's the Razorbacks versus the Land Sharks, and to me,
the Brown Bears.
This is Arkansas's best rivalry to me. The Confederates, I think, at one point.
Ole Miss, that's the Old Maids.
Yeah.
The Old Maids, that's what I'm going to call them.
The Old Maids.
Old, unmarried ladies that couldn't find anybody to settle down.
But as I was saying, this is Arkansas's best rivalry to me because, I know there's Texas. Like, I'm not saying that, we don't hate Texas more than anybody else. But to me, this has a chance if it is marketed right because the hate is there for both teams. But if the marketing...
Don't even say that it could be on par with the Texas rivalry.
100% past it. I was going to say if the marketing is right, because we are not on a level with Texas. Texas is a Ohio State program. Texas is a Alabama program. They are a true blue blood.
We'll see y'all later. I'm leaving the podcast.
Texas is leagues. I mean, you want to talk about money? You want to talk about national championships? What do you want to talk about? How are we on the same? How? In what spectrum are you talking about?
Okay, Texas has money.
National championships.
I mean, they have
Historic players.
won in the last
How many in total?
several decades. I mean, they're like Alabama. They claim some that they never should have claimed.
They have way more money.
They have maybe
Way more national
legitimate
championships.
Maybe
Way more NFL draft picks. Way more historic players. Anyways,
Overrated.
I hate Texas. Listen, I know it's blasphemous to what I just said, but
For you
but-
to say that, you don't hate Texas.
but Arkansas, Ole Miss, if it's marketed
I
right,
found out in this podcast here today, you're a Texas lover that has
Okay.
been posing
aren't you a preacher?
as a Texas hater since we started this.
Ain't this
podcast.
one of the 10 Commandments?
And
Thou
now
shalt
you're
not
gonna
bear
sit here
false
and
witness.
try to
I hate Texas.
You hate Texas after you just said they're the
I
stuff.
hate
They got
Texas,
money in the
but
next
we
generation.
aren't close to the level that Texas is on. Either way, as I was saying before so rudely interrupted, if Arkansas Ole Miss markets this game right, this has a chance to be a top 5, top 10 SEC rivalry. Both of these programs are good programs. Both of the fan bases hate each other enough.
Well, here's the
We're
problem.
both on par with each other now, not historically. Arkansas is a much better program than Ole Miss. But recently, we are two teams that are neck and neck with each other, and this is a really good chance. Arkansas does not have a rivalry that matters to the other team. LSU does not care about
here's
beating
the
Arkansas. Texas don't care about beating
Ole
Arkansas.
Miss don't care about us.
Yes, they do.
Ole
They
Miss
will.
thinks their biggest rival is Alabama.
Ole Miss is smoking crack. Ole Miss
Alabama don't care nothing about.
does not have a big rivalry. Alabama's not a rivalry with Ole Miss. Mississippi
think
State
they are.
is a Egg Bowl. It's a big rivalry, but I mean, if your rival's Mississippi State, boy, get a better rival. So I think Arkansas Ole Miss can be a really big rivalry. Historically,
It is.
these two teams have played 69 times. Arkansas absolutely dominating the
70th?
series. 70th anniversary.
I didn't realize I knew we played Ole Miss more than any other SEC team. Before we come into the league, but I didn't know we played them that many times.
Yeah. We play them every year, as we should.
So we played them a lot more than we played LSU.
Yeah, no doubt. And Arkansas dominates this rivalry. It's not close. 38-30 and 1.
I didn't think they had 30. I thought they had 29.
38-30. Ole Miss, one tie. Did you know that the largest margin of victory comes from Arkansas in 2007
It was.
with a 44-8 dominant win? And I believe
That's saying something that's the largest margin of victory because this game's always close.
yeah.
I tell you what, when I really truly fell in love with Razorback football was, again, I've talked about it was the Matt Jones teams. And we had the 7 overtime win against Eli Manning and the Rebels. Dave Cutcliffe was their head coach. He was the offensive coordinator for Tennessee for Philip Fulmer. Had, really got the Tennessee offense going. They hired him to be the head coach at the Rebels, and he was the one that was able to get Eli to come there instead of to Tennessee. Of course, he wanted to follow kind of in his dad's shoes as well, who played for Ole Miss. And we had that 7 overtime game. Nobody had ever seen anything like it before. The longest game they'd ever seen was, I think, a 4 overtime game, Alabama and Arkansas, and that would have been in the Mike Shula, Alabama era, and we beat them then. And it was just, I remember watching that game. I remember your mom, y'all was all little. We were living at Black Oak. I was pastoring Black Oak Baptist Church. And we were supposed to be going to Jonesboro. And this was like a I think it was maybe like the 2:30 CBS game that day, and it's 7 o'clock, and we're still watching football. She's irate. She's like, it can't still be going on. What are you talking about?
It is.
I'm like, this is historic. We cannot leave, you know. But yeah, this game it is always important to me for us to win.
What's funny that you say that. I fell in love with Arkansas because I was an Arkansas State fan. I just did that really to make y'all mad because y'all loved Arkansas so much. But what made me love the Arkansas program was also Arkansas and Ole Miss when we had another super long overtime game. I want to say it was Ryan Mallett. I think Ryan Mallett was the one who had a 6 or 7 overtime game with Ole Miss as well.
I don't remember that. I remember 7 with Ole Miss, 6 with Tennessee, 7 with Kentucky.
It might have just been 4. It was a overtime game with Ole Miss, and I was like, wow, this is fun to watch. Also, I remember watching it at our house in Tennessee, the Arkansas Ohio State Sugar Bowl. And that was really cool to watch. And Landon was an Ohio State fan, and I'm never going to let him live that down. But yeah, Arkansas comes into this game. Oh, before I say that, do you know what Ole Miss's largest margin of victory is?
12 because they're terrible.
22-8 because they're terrible.
What is that?
I don't know, but we double it.
14.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good guess.
It's close to that. Don't state me because I didn't write that down, but I do remember seeing 20-something to 8. We have them almost double. But Arkansas comes into this game 5-3 with losses to Oklahoma State, LSU, Texas A&M, while Ole Miss comes into this game 6-2.
So technically, we should be 6-2 as well.
We should have beat Oklahoma State. We should have beat Texas A&M.
Could have beat A&M, but should have beat Oklahoma State. Dominated that game and then
decided to give it to them.
Fumbled it away at the end.
Ole Miss comes to the game 6-2 with a loss to the SEC powerhouse 3-5 Kentucky Wildcats.
Yikes.
And LSU. But yeah, they lost to Kentucky, which I thought to be surprising.
Loss. And when it happened, they thought, well, Kentucky's good. It's not going to be that big a deal. No,
Kentucky's not good. Before we get too much into this game, I've got a couple tidbits just to
some hottie
toddies, some hitey tighties. Over the week, Pooh Paul Jr. went on just had a stroke. Pooh Paul Jr. went on Paul Feinbaum's show.
That sounds like a
you know what he stated?
Nope.
As everyone knows, I talk to God about everything.
Okay.
So, and I was like, oh, that's great. I like that. So I just asked him what to do, and he said, go to Ole Miss. You know what? I found that odd because I didn't know God was involved with NIL. I had no idea. And
maybe his God is money.
It might be. I really thought that to be a weird statement because I think the money it's like the love of money. I think it's like the root of all evil or whatever. And if Pooh Paul is sitting here trying to say that he went to Ole Miss for anything else but the bag, that boy's lying.
Yeah.
No. That's the only reason he went there.
He's having a good year. He's their leading tackler.
Yeah, he's a great player. I'd love to have him back.
But here's the thing. We lost Pooh Paul. We picked up
Landon Jackson.
No, we had Landon Jackson. We picked up
we traded 2 players for LSU's 2 players.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
Last year, who's our leading?
Xavier Sorey Jr.
Sorey, yeah. We got Sorey and Pooh Paul virtually has the exact same amount of tackles, sacks. We lost nothing. It'd been cool to have both of them.
Oh yeah, we'd be dominating.
But our linebackers are playing good this year. So
is Nico Devier? Is he the other linebacker, or is he like a safety?
No, Nico's a linebacker.
I think so. I
can't remember.
So other than that, I want to give a shout out to Mr. Brian. I had a customer at Dillard's today. He talked to me for a while, and he noticed he saw the hog pin that I always wear on my suits. Every time I wear a suit, I have a hog pin on it just to let everybody know, hey, I'm a Razorback through and through, true and true. And without me bringing up anything at all, he started talking about how awful Ole Miss fans are. And, we're very vocal about how terrible of a experience we have at Ole Miss every year. And so I thought that was pretty interesting. He told me, he stated that he went to a game at Ole Miss in 1999, which, forgive me if I'm wrong, I believe that's the year after the Sterner Stumble, right? That was 1998 Tennessee game.
No, it was 99 was a stumble because that's the year they won the national championship.
Well, 99 was the game he went to, and it resulted in a Rebel win, 38-16. And he said that they were cussing him out, throwing stuff at him the whole walk home. They're being so awful to the point where he had to take off his hog hat just to get to his car. So it's not just us. Ole Miss really is a terrible fan base.
And they're bad. I mean, there's no excuse for it. But I can understand. I can't understand, but I mean, it would be more understandable if they treated you badly if they had just gotten beat.
Yeah.
But when they win,
dominate, even, they are awful people.
Yeah, it's just
no. When they lose, I mean, you won't.
It'd be after a loss.
No, I was talking to him. I was like, man. He's like, but if they lose, man, it's an easy way to get out because they are head hanging and not saying a word to nobody. But that's just the type of people they are. I'm not a fan of Ole Miss fan base.
Nico is a lineman.
Okay, that's not. He an offensive tackle. He switched positions on us.
So the defensive lineman.
He might be. I'm not too sure. Anyways, and also, if you aren't aware, 2 players kicked off the team with no suspension, nothing like that, just straight up off, and that was Varkeus Gums and Ty Washington.
Yeah, so I was going to talk about that a little bit if you didn't say something about it when I got ready to pick. I haven't heard anything on Gums. Now I have heard there was crazy stuff being said about Washington. I mean, they were saying he was a drug dealer and all this stuff. So he went on 4th and 5. Did you watch that?
I watched the first half of it.
Where he was talking?
Yeah.
Yeah. He basically said, he was deflecting. I didn't care for his side of the story. He was deflecting, kind of trying to say that
it was their fault.
Yeah, Pittman is their fault. So what he said was that he had heard that his grandma was being put on hospice right before the game.
Awful.
And he was in a bad mental state, and I can understand that. So I can understand that, but they went to put him in the game, and see, he also said he had been kind of disgruntled with his playing time lately, even though he had played quite a bit this year. I guess they wasn't targeting him, but I think a lot of that is just that Talon is just now getting comfortable going through his progression and hitting people other than Andrew Armstrong or Brogan. Anyways, he'd been disgruntled with his playing time and all this and that. They went to put him in a game, and he refused to go in.
Mm-hmm.
When you do that, when you're like, they're like, hey, we need you out there, and you're like, no, I ain't going in, because he didn't want to go in what's called trash time.
Yeah.
The other tight ends both had 2 touchdowns apiece,
and
now you're going to put me in down in the final drive of the game where we know you're not going to throw the ball. I ain't going in.
Yeah.
And so.
He tried to play that off. I remember him saying he talked to his therapist or counselor or whatever.
He was asking for, and look, if somebody's needing some help,
they need it.
They need help. But I think he come across to me as having a little bit of an entitlement mentality, a little bit like, you going to listen to me, whatever. That ain't the way it works when you are speaking to your employer. Young people have this kind of this entitled mentality a lot of times, like they can just talk to their boss however they want to, or they can come to work when they want to, or not go to work if they don't want to. That's fact. You can, but you also got to reap
the repercussions.
That's right. And the repercussions was you're off the team.
Yeah, see you later.
So I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
I don't know about gums. I haven't heard anything.
Not a word, not a lick.
But I'm assuming it's probably something similar. I don't know if they looked at him and said, well, no, he wasn't. He didn't dress last week. So something obviously was going on with gums.
Yeah.
Before that, because they didn't even take him to Mississippi State.
Yeah.
So he was probably on the way out already, and just Pittman probably just said, "Well, we're cutting one, we'll cut both."
See you later.
Which is unfortunate because we're thin. Now at the top, I mean, our tight ends was the shine last week.
It was
4 TDs.
Yeah.
Between them, Luke Haas and Polska, which I don't understand how you pronounce that Polska, but that's the way they say it.
That's how they say it.
He says it. That's the way I'm gonna say it. And I didn't realize Polska, man, he's a specimen to look at.
Mm-hmm.
Tall,
big dude.
Big, but not real heavy. He's not like the big tight end we had, last year. What was his name?
Bruckner or something like that.
That's not it. But
it's not it, but it was something like that.
Talking about,
yeah.
Who was beefier?
Huge. Could catch the ball. Don't get it wrong.
Polska, he's built like those big Miami tight ends, from days gone by. So I was really impressed with them. We've only got one other scholarship tight end and a walk-on tight end as our backups.
Yeah.
So and with Luke and Polska both being hurt for a lot of this season, I hope they can stay healthy. Looks like those backups are probably going to get
a little bit of playing time.
You may even look at, if it was me, I might even look at, some of my wide receivers if I've got a couple of bigger wide receivers or
put in old man.
Yeah.
Put in old man, yeah. Monte Harrison. Put him in there.
That'd be a good position for him.
Yeah.
He's a big, strong dude. I bet
he's a full-grown man. I mean,
let Monty block a little bit.
I'd love to see that.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I hadn't even thought about that. That's a good idea.
Thank you. Just thought of it. Before we get off that, I do want to say that prayers for his grandma. That's terrible.
Yeah, I mean,
I hate to hear that. But it's
to Ty because
he's
going through this. And here's what I hope. I hope Ty Washington gets the help he needs. I hope
his grandma's perfectly fine.
His grandma
heals.
is okay, and the family is okay. I hope he gets the help he needs. I hope he matures a little bit, and I hope he has a fantastic life. If he's able, I want him to finish his degree. Maybe go to another school, play for them, for the NFL, whatever.
Absolutely.
I hope nothing is for him, but he's gonna have to.
It just wasn't a fit.
Toughen up a little bit and grow up a little bit.
Yeah, just not the.
Handle your business a little better. That's probably the best way to say it. Handle your business a little better.
Yeah, but all right, back to the Ole Miss Arkansas game.
Let's pick this thing.
Stat wise,
say what you want to say.
All right, let's get through this. Ole Miss is the second best offense in the country with the number one passing and the 40th in rushing. Arkansas is the 7th best offense in the country with the 23rd best passing and the 28th best rushing. Passing, that's a big difference between 1 and 23rd. But defensively, Ole Miss ranks 11th in the nation while Arkansas trails far behind at 55th in the country.
Surprising stat to me is that the Ole Miss defense is actually what they're known for this year.
Yeah.
When you think of Ole Miss, you think of Lane Kiffin, high-scoring offense. They can't play defensive lick, but you're going to have to be able to outscore them. This year, I don't know. I kind of like the fact that our offense can put up points. I mean, we put up almost 60 on Ole Miss. We put up 70 on UAPB. Put up plenty of points on
Ole Miss.
Not Ole Miss, Mississippi State. We can score points, and if our defense, because our defense didn't play great last week, they turned the ball over. Had they not turned the ball over, that would have been a real close game.
Yeah.
So hoping our defense has a great game plan for the Ole Miss offense. Maybe we can shut them down. Jackson Dart is a good ball player, and he scares me a little bit because not only can he throw it really good, he can also run. I think he's like their third leading rusher.
Yeah. I feel like he's been there for forever.
Henry Perkins is their tailback. He's really good.
Henry Parrish Jr.
Is it Parrish? Whatever.
Yeah.
I know it.
Harold Perkins is LSU's defensive player.
Which I called Hank as well. But this guy's name is Henry, so his name is actually Hank. Hank Parrish.
No, it's not. It's Henry Parrish.
It's Henry, but Hank is a nickname for Henry.
Oh, okay.
Like Jim is a nickname for James.
Bill William.
Yeah.
Because that makes sense.
Henry Aaron was Hank Aaron.
Okay.
Henry Williams was Hank Williams.
Okay.
I don't know if his name's Henry or not.
I have no idea. Two totally different teams with two totally different feels.
This is kind of good content you get on this podcast.
But one thing these two teams can come together on, Dad, they don't like each other so much.
Okay, I agree with that.
This is a true rivalry in my opinion. It's not a literal rivalry. It's not a SEC recognized rivalry, but I think it's coming. I think we're going to kick the Missouri game out. Or we should. I don't think they will because, they can't go back on what they started.
The problem is that Shelter Insurance sponsors that game.
Dillinger Agency, if you didn't know.
Dillinger Agency is involved in that.
Yeah.
And as long as it's, because here's the deal. Shelter Insurance is based in Columbia. It's one of the, staples of the Columbia, which is where Ole Miss is, Mizzou.
You mean Missouri?
Not Ole Miss. Missouri.
Everybody's Ole Miss this today.
I'm sleepy.
It's hot in this room again.
But anyways, they're going to try to keep that rivalry going.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I just hope we start winning that thing.
It'd be nice, but either way,
I don't even remember what I was going to say.
Players to watch for Ole Miss, obviously Jackson Dart.
Jackson Dart and Hank. Let's go.
This kid is pretty decent, sitting third in the nation and number one in the SEC. He's poised. He's on fire, and he has what it takes to make our secondary. Look, I'm professional. You're not. Can't help you there. He's got the potential to make our secondary throw fits. On the flip side, 6'3" senior wide receiver Trey Harris. He's number 2 in the country and atop the SEC. Harris is listed as questionable, so if he doesn't play, that's huge.
I didn't look at. I always look at the injury chart. I know it's one thing I'm supposed to do. I didn't look at Ole Miss's, so I don't know what they got.
They've got quite a few.
Are they?
Yeah. Doubtful, not many out.
We only have 3 players out. Again, It's Jalen Braxton. It's Jaquindon Jackson.
Kicker, Matt Ramsey, Jalen Ramsey, whatever the name is. Jalen Ramsey's the Rams defense player.
So that's our guys that are out.
Yeah.
We had a few questions.
If he doesn't play, that's huge win for the Razorbacks. 5'10", 185 senior running back Henry Parrish Jr.
So he's questionable?
He isn't. No, he's good. He isn't too shabby either. Defensively, former Arkansas stud junior linebacker Poopaw Jr. is having another great year, leading the team in tackles with 58 to date. And in closing, these two teams play a close game every year. It's a dogfight. Most of the time, it's a high-scoring shootout. I expect much of the same this go-around. Look, Ole Miss is a good team. They are.
Rank number 19.
I expect it to be a good game. They're going to have explosive plays and quite a few at that. But if Arkansas can keep them to a minimum, I don't think Ole Miss is physical enough to control the game. I think they've got to rely on their speed and their star players to have big plays. I don't think that they can impose their running game or their quick short pass game. So I've got confidence in Travis Williams' ability to game plan against them. Arkansas cannot afford to turn the ball over. Talon is going to have to play like he did last week. If we can do all that, I don't see Ole Miss hanging in there. Lane Kiffin has never won in Fayetteville. He ain't going to this week. Give me them Wild Hogs 44-36.
44-36.
I think it's going to be another high-scoring game.
Talon Green impressed me last week.
He did.
What he did was, and he, in the last 2 games, game before last, he stayed in the pocket quite a bit, much more than normal. Last week, he was flushed a lot, but he made some fantastic plays on the run, some Johnny Manziel type plays on the run. And that one throw he threw to the corner of the end zone in the second half, late in the second half, and one of our receivers that hadn't had a catch all year. Do you remember who it was? It seemed like maybe number 11. He's diving, makes a fantastic touchdown catch. He just really seems to be coming into his own after that scare in the Tennessee game, and then the bye week. He got some good rest. LSU, he played, decent. And then last week he really played well. I haven't watched a lot of Ole Miss this year. And here's the only reservation I have. I'm worried that all the drama with kicking off the 2 tight ends is going to affect the locker room. So honestly, my head is telling me to pick Ole Miss in this game. But we're 5-3 preseason pick'ems. I had us 5-3 at this point, and I had us going on a tear, beating winning the next 3 games. I'm not coming off of that now. I want the Hogs in the upset over the Rebels. And that's what my heart says, and that's what I'm going to pick. But I do, in my mind, I'm kind of wondering if we're going to see Arkansas revert back to that kind of poor locker room issue. I hope not. I hope they're still and resolved and they come together. But I just don't know. We'll see on Saturday.
We'll definitely see on Saturday, guys. This is going to be a great game. I'm going to this game.
Hunter Heave was in the Ole Miss game.
Yep, the Hunter Heave it was. Lots of great plays have happened in this series.
You were talking about maybe. As far as the Ole Miss game or was that? No, that you said it was when we was in Tennessee. You was talking about earlier that watching an Ole Miss game is what got you really loving the Razorback.
Yeah, it was just like a multi-overtime game, though. I don't know about the Hunter Heave.
The Hunter Heave was an
awesome game. Yeah. But, yeah, this is going to be an exciting game. I'll be there. I'm going to try to get some snippets, some little clips of the game.
I think you should do at least a short little instant reaction.
How about this? I'll go live. I'll go live.
Pull up a picture of me on your Oh, no, you're going to have to record it on your phone. Pull up a picture of me on Riley's phone and just hold it next to your head.
How about this?
Be like my daddy.
I'll go live from the game, do just a 2-5 minute instant reaction.
That's 10 minutes.
2 to 5 minutes instant reaction, just so that y'all can see the atmosphere of it. But I do want to do a in-depth actual reaction when I get back home.
Yeah,
we'll do that. Sound good?
Yep.
Alrighty, guys.
Go watch our SEC Pick'em video if you hadn't watched it yet. I felt like it was one of our best ones, and it was, just off the cuff.
Look, everything around here, unedited, unfiltered, raw.
Not without notes, though, because you got a book over here.
Look, hey, I'm a professional podcaster. I get all kind of people watching this podcast at Dillard's. I talk to everybody about it.
I'm thinking nothing funny to say.
But yeah, guys, this is gonna be a great game. I hate Ole Miss. I love this game. I love this rivalry, and there's not a whole lot else to say about that. Yeah, love the Hogs.
Go Hogs! I got a new. We always end with a hook down horns here. Right there.
Is that an M?
That's an M.
That's
I got
an M.
this crooked finger.
Yeah, but I say it's kind of hard to tell.
Gimp, but that's an M.
And click on one of these. I'm going to have some boxes pop up. Subscribe to the channel. We need you to subscribe. We're getting all these views, and we're not getting all these subscribers. What's going on there?
That's the YouTube.
That's just terrible. But like, subscribe. Guys, share this podcast around. It helps a lot. It means a lot to us. We want to reach as many people as we can. If you're not an Arkansas fan, just watch our SEC Pick'ems. We're going to talk about your team. You might not like it if you're certain fans, but you will if you're others. But yeah, guys,
fans ought to love us.
Vanderbilt fans ought to be singing our praises.
4 of them, so
yeah. Well, there they go. There goes the force. Appreciate that. But yeah, guys, thank y'all for watching. golly, I hope we beat Ole Miss. Thank y'all for watching. God bless
Jesus say.
the United States of America, and God bless the Arkansas
Go
Razorbacks. Woo pig suey, baby.